We're starting from where we stopped in the last class. So we've started the list thing and we've talked about many things in the list. Today we would move on to another section of it, and which is how we can change a range of items. We have items in a list. So how would you change the range of items you have in a list? So I think we all understood the negative range, and I would like you to go and practice. Hopefully, I would give you some work to do so that you can do more practice. Nevertheless, I would want you as well to make sure you listen very well, because this is the most important thing. If you don't understand something, it's not easy for you to even do it yourself. So if you could still remember, I mentioned to you that when you have a list and you want to pick a range of items in the list, instead of you writing all the items you want to pick, you would write a colon. You write a colon. The meaning of this colon 4 is that start from the beginning and stop on item index number 4. The meaning is start from the beginning and stop on index item number 4. So this is the meaning. So when you see that, it's going to count from the beginning till it gets to the item number 4. Then it's going to stop there. So now let's take a look at what I'm saying here. Let's say you call the list out. Let's say, for example, you have list. So in this case, it's going to call Apple. Sorry. In that case, it's going to call Apple. It's going to call banana. Mind you, count with me. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to call apple, banana, cherry, orange, and it's not going to call for. It's going to stop here. It's not going to call for. So it stops here. So that's the meaning. So what about if I say colon item number 5? So it's going to call apple, banana, cherry, orange, and kiwi. It's going to stop here. So what about if I decide to call range from the negative side? If I say -4, if I say -4 colon, so it's going to count -1, -2, -3, -4. So it's going to start from -4 to the end. So it's going to call orange, kiwi, melon, and mango. So I want you to understand this concept very well. It's one of the simplest concepts we have. So the same thing here. If I call this list, I said 2 to nothing. So it's going to call 0, 1, 2. So it's going to call from cherry. It's going to call this orange, kiwi, melon, and mango. So this is exactly the way it works. Okay, so let's move on to what we want to work on today. So last week, I did a little bit of what we call conditional statement. In programming language, every programming language has a conditional statement. The conditional statement, what do we use it for? We use it to tell the program what to do. You say the conditional statement start with if. If a condition is true, do this. Let's say, for example, I say name is equals to Omar. Age is equals to 38. There's no need to put this. And gender is equals to male. So, and What else? Height is equals to 510. Now, I would say if age, are you with me? Is equals, this is how we compare, this is how we use a comparison. If age is equals to 38, I put what? I put colon. I will say print E is Omar. So if I want to say, what if the age is not 38? I would say Alif. Alif means else if. Alif is a shortened form of else if. So I'll put colon, Alif. Instead of me putting a colon, I still want to write something else. So I would say Alif, Alif, Alif gender, Alif gender. Sorry, I'm not gonna put this because it's already a variable. Alif G is equals to male M. Print A is Umar. Else, that's the last one. After Alif, you can have as many Alif as possible. Alif, 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 Alif. But the last one is going to be else. And after else, you don't write anything. Else, print E is not Umar. So this is how to use it. If you write a program like this, it's going to be able to detect if one of the quality of the person is in the thing, is going to tell you. Let's go to Google Colab so that we can see how to do what I'm saying. Now you can see what we did here. Right here we said we had a list. So I want to do it to relate it with the list. So, but let me try to do something. I will just introduce you to what we call conditional statement. We will do it thoroughly. So, but for now, I just want to give it some introduction. Name is equals to Shoaib. All right. Age equals to 38. Gender equals to male. So now I've given some what do you call it? Some variables. Now I can run my code. If name equals to Shoaib. Okay. Print array E is Dr. Shoaib. So then I'll go Alif, else if age, else if what? Age equals 38. Print. Let's run the first one first so that it doesn't get complex. I'm always trying to be very careful getting you confused. So this is why you see me doing everything bit by bit. So let's run this. It's gonna yell at you now because I did not run it first. So let me run this as well. So it's gonna take some time. Every time it's running for the first time, it takes some time. So yeah, it's gonna yell. So let me run this again. So that's okay. That's marked, that's checked. Let me run this now. So now it worked. So I will use this code to teach you now. So I said if name is this one you see is not equals to. When you see double equals to, is a comparison. So you're trying to compare name with Shuaib. But here you're giving Shuaib name, you're giving Shuaib a variable. You're given a variable name, you're given the value Shuaib. You're given a variable age, you're given a value of 38. You're given a variable G, you're given a value of M. So this is why you say if name is Shuaib, print hooray, he is Dr. Shuaib. So you can also say elif, else if, else if age is equals to 38, print the same thing. Or you can say print something else. You can say print array else what do you do? Print I don't know him. Know him. So if you run this, now it's gonna print Dr. Shuaib. Yeah, already is Dr. Shuaib. So this is how we use it. Let me show you another way. Now let's say you want to people wants to fill the form, and you want to make sure that people who age is below 18 will not be able to use the form. So you can say age is equals to 18. Gender, you want only male to fill the form. Gender is equals to M. Let's say you have some people who are criminals. Maybe they've committed a crime and you want to catch them. So you say name is equals to, let's say Mark is a criminal in the community. So you want, when he says his name is Mark, you call the police, call 911. So now these are the variables. Let's use these short variables. Then now you write your code for the set. If age is equals to 18, print you print what? Print you are eligible to vote. All right. So it's a elif name is equals to Mark. Elif name equals to Mark. Print what? For 911. Else, after all these two conditions, any other condition, do what? Print you are eligible to vote. Now look at it. So let's run this first. So, and let's run this. We're gonna have a little bit of problem here. So the first one is that you're eligible to vote. So why did it print you're eligible to vote? Why did it not print code 911? Because the first condition is met. It does not go to the second condition. So now let me pull the the condition, let me put 17 as the age. Then I'll run it again. Then code out. Did you see? Because the second condition is not met, it went to the the first condition is not correct. It went to the second condition, it said code 911 because he's 19, he's 17, but his name is Mark. So once you have Mark putting in his name, then it's gonna call 911. Now let's say, for example, the name is not Mark. Let me use Marky. What would it print now? It will print you eligible to vote. Now let me run it. Now you are eligible to vote. Because when the first condition is not met, the second condition is not met, it's going to go to the third condition. So that is exactly what it does. So this is what we call conditional statement in Python in every programming language, but we're not here yet. So I'm just trying to show you a little bit of example of what we saw last week so that we can get used to it. By the time we get there, I would explain in more detail to you. So today we would go and use our list again. So the list we used last week was list 2. So I will run it here and I'll code it down so that we can keep track of what we're doing. So I will call list 2, print list 2. So I run it. Voila, we still have it. So now we want to change the value. We want to change value of banana and cherry with the values of, we want to put something else, like we want to put blackcurrant and watermelon, for example. So what would you do? You would say what? You would say list 2, isn't it? We know what list 2 is. Then you say list 2, then you open a angle bracket. You want to change values of what? Of banana, which is 1, right? And you want to change the value of grape, which is 3, right? Right? 3. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So 3, grape is 3. But you want to change the value of, because if you say 3, it's not going to get to 3, it's going to stop in 2. So that means we have to say 4. So I want to change the value of banana and what? And this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So as we know, it's not going to get to 4. It's going to stop in 3. So we're going to use 4. So when I put that value, what would I say? I would say equals to, can you see how I'm doing it? I would say list 1 colon 4 is equals to, then I'll put what? Angle bracket. What I want to put inside it, I want to put blackcurrant. Blackcurrant. For 1, I want to replace my banana with blackcurrant, and I will replace my grape with watermelon. I want you to listen very well. Watermelon. So now, after I've done this, then I would print list 2 again. Print, let me run it one after the other. Let me run this first. So now, since it's marked, that means everything is fine. So let's print list 2 again. List 2. Let's run it. Voila. Now we've got banana is replaced with what? Blackcurrant. And we've got the carrot replaced with what? With watermelon. Why? Because we call what? We call 1 colon what? 1 colon colon 4. So now let's break it down more so that you can understand it. This is orange, which is in position, which is in index number 0. Banana is index number 1. You know, before, if you try to get something from 1 to 4, it's going to pick you 1, 2, and 3. It's not going to go to 4, isn't it? So what we did is we picked from 0, 1, 2, and 3. So it didn't go to 4. So what did we do here? We replaced everything in between, starting from index number 1 to index number 4. We replaced it with 2 things. So this is what happened. It got replaced with what? With 2 things. Only 2 things, because we've written only 2 things here. So let's say, for example, you decide to put purple. As you know, because you want to have the same number of values which is there. So if you want to have the same value, the same number of values, because blackcurrant, watermelon were put in between from column 1 to 4. That is to say, excluding 4. But if you want to have purple, just to have the same, because if you look at the length now of the list 2, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 is being cut off. So because you actually replaced with number of values, which is less than the number of values you had before. So now let's run this again, and let's run this. So now we have purple in between there. If you decide to have more values in between index number 1 to 4, you can put more. So this is exactly how we can change the range of items. So we can change the range from 1 to 4 to 5. We can add more things. If I decide to add as many as possible within that range, it's going to add it. Let me add another fruit, dragon fruit. Or let me say cashew. Cashew. So now I want to add 4 things in between the places. Now I've got all of it being put, but you would see the apple is the apple was replaced. Banana, carrot, grape, and apple is being replaced by these 4 things. So this is exactly how we do changing of ranges in Python. So, and if you want to insert more items than you replace, the new items will be inserted where you specify, and the remaining item would move accordingly. So if you want to add more and more and more, you keep on adding more. It's going to be put in between that place you specify. So let's say I reduce this 1:4 to 1:3. So what would happen is I would have my apple back. I will have my apple back, and I would have all of this in between them. So let me run it for you. Let me run it, and you see. So I want to fix all these 4 things in between range of 1 to 3. So if I run it now, you see, I got my apple back. Is purple watermelon, cashew, watermelon, cashew. Yeah,
I think you have
okay.
to load the original list.
What did you say?
I said, I think you have to load the original list, the one from the top. Because once you changed it below, I think it changed the content of the list.
You mean no. You mean the one I loaded before? You mean this one?
Yes, yes,
No,
yes,
this one is
yes.
fine. This is fine. It's okay. The only problem we have now is trying to say what we want to have is not having because we already had the grape before. We had grape, we had apple, but because we had it onto this, so it's replaced. It's actually fixing it. It's putting it back again. So that was why you had double. You understand? So we had it before, which is 1 to 4. Now we had it to 1 to 3. So since we already had a gap of 1 from 4 to 3, it's going to put that in the place of that 4. So that was why we had it. But now we've reloaded everything. Now it's fine. So now you've seen your orange, your blackcurrant, the purple, watermelon, the cashew. You've seen your grape, and you've seen your apple back again. Did you see? So you see your grape, your apple, your banana, and your mango. So this is what we call what? This is how you can insert things into your list. So now the length of the list will change. Of course, now if you try to find the length of this and length of this, another thing we can do, we can decide to label this length 3. So sometimes we can do something like that. So we can say, we can rename this list with another name. Okay, let's leave it. I don't want to have, so because the reason why we saw what we saw the other time is because we got too many things bearing the same name. So this is why. So this is why we have it that way. So let's move on to the next one. So if you insert less items than you replace, the new items will be inserted where you specify. I think you already know that. So, and it's going to replace the third value. Now let's try to insert another thing. Let's say you want to insert into a new list items without replacing any of the existing one. So you want to just put into it without replacing the one you had in before. Now we replace some places, isn't it? But you want to add more things to the list without having to change what you had before in the list. So how do you do this? So there is something we call the insert keyword. So we call something the insert keyword. So let me write that for you. So we say insert keyword. So this keyword is going to help you insert something to your list. So let's call the list 2 again and see if everything is still fine. Let's print. Let's print list 2. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 items in list 2. So what do you want to do? You want to insert something else into it. So what would you do? You would specify. So let's write a code for how to do it. You would say list 2 dot insert. List 2 dot insert. Where do I want to insert it? I want to insert it in. Let me try to insert first without writing where to insert it. Let me just write. I want to insert water photo we know. Pineapple. Pineapple. So now let's run it. Now I can say, it says we're supposed to have 2 arguments, but now we're having 1 argument. So the meaning is in a list, you cannot insert except you mention the location you want to put it. Is that understood? So he said we are supposed to have 2 arguments, but we had only 1 argument. So what does argument mean? Argument is what you write after the keyword. So if you call a keyword insert, you should write 2 arguments. 1 argument should be the location you want to put it, comma, and this other argument should be what you want to put there. So now I put 2 arguments. So I want to put it in the first location, and I want pineapple to be there. So now we run it. So I don't have any problem. So that means everything is fine. So now let's print the list 2 again. Let's print the list 2 again. So when you print it, now you see pineapple is now standing in front of orange. So it's replacing the first index. So this is why you have pineapple there. If I decide to change this to -1, for example, I think you know what's going to happen? It's going to go behind behind the mango. So if I run this now, no problem. Then if I run this, it would say pineapple, it went to stay after mango. Okay. Now let me run it again. No, most people do not use the negative for inserting into list. So most people don't use it. So let me try to use -0 and see what's gonna happen. I see. So most people do not usually use it. So I was just trying to see if it's gonna work, but it worked. So now what happened is it would not be, it will only be in front of the first item, which is 0, because -0 and 0 is the same. It does not see the negative. But if you want to put it behind a -1, it's not going to be behind mango. It's going to be before the end, before the mango. This is actually going to work with list. But if we get to another data, you would see what I'm saying. So that's the reason why I'm trying to do many things with this list, so that you can master what is specific about the list. Because what makes you a better programmer is to be able to know what data type to use to solve your problem. For example, your boss gives you a task and is asking you that, can you do this for me? And he's not going to tell you what to use. In his mentality, you are hired because you're smart. So what would he do? He would expect that you should know what the right thing is. So then he's going to tell you, you know what? I want to put this orange in the end. I want to put this orange in the end of my list. Can you put it for me? Then you tell him, oh, it's not going to work with list. So we can use another data type. We can put the data into another type of data, and we can try to do it, because it's not going to work with list. And there are some other ways we can put in the last the last letter, the last value. But for now, we're now aware that if you put 0 for orange, it's going to replace the first letter. But if you put -1, it's not going to work. It's not going to replace the last letter. So this is very good. So, but what we usually do with the list is what I've told you. You put in the middle. So if you decide to put some other fruits, maybe in index number 4, just put the index number, then put what you want to put in it, and you print it, you'll have it. So now let's move on to the next one. Now the next one is append. So we can append. So we add an item to the end of a list. So now that's exactly what I was adding to. So if you want to now add it, let's say, for example, you still insist that your boss is saying, no, I want you to just put this in the end of the what? In the end of the list for me. I don't want you to put it anywhere. So what do? You just write list2 dot append. All right, list2 dot append. Then what do you want to append? You want to append, what kind of fruit do we have again? What kind of fruit do we have we've not mentioned here?
Kiwi.
Yeah, we have kiwi. So you want to append kiwi. So you run it, list2 the append kiwi. Guava. We also have guava. So then pomegranate, yeah. So now we can print what we print list2, and now you will say list2 is gonna append it in the last. Now you solve the problem of a manager. Your manager will say, wow, this is why I hired you. It will tell you that this is why I hired you, because I know you're smart. So this is exactly how I wanted to remember. I'll do a quick recap of what we did. I don't want us to do too many things in the same day. So today we actually talked a little about this conditional statement. Don't worry yourself much about this if you don't understand. I'm going to have a cool class with it. So just relax. But we started with the list, and I told you what we can do with the list. So we try to insert in between item 1 and 3. We try to insert blackcurrant, pawpaw, watermelon, and cashew. So when you do that, you just put list2, open a angle bracket, 1:3. Then you put all these things in between 1, 2, 3. Then we use what we call the insert keyword to put something in a location. I want you to listen very well now. It is the insert package or the insert keyword that would ask you for two arguments. Let me give an example. You put append and put 3, for example. Now it's going to yell at you. Now let's see the yelling. It's going to say what? It's going to say list the append takes exactly 1 argument. Now, do you see? So this is how to read an error message. When you see an error message, it's not just yelling at you, it's telling you something. It's telling you now that you cannot put 2 arguments for append, because every keyword has its own, it has its own quality. If you're trying to put this keyword in a way where you're not supposed to put it, you would have a problem. So this is exactly what it's telling you that. So, and I want you to understand these things very, very well. It's very important that you understand this now. It's very, very important that you understand this now. Said you only give me it said you only give me 1 argument where you're trying to append. If you give me 2 arguments are the things you write in the parentheses. So if you give me 2 arguments, I will yell at you. And that's why it's yelling so much. So now you run it again, it's fine. Then you run it again, you have your result. So this is how append does work. But if you want to insert, you have to specify where you insert into. You cannot just say insert into nowhere where you need to mention it. But you can append, because append will automatically go and be at the end of the list. If you append another thing now, let's say you try to append, let's say you call list 2. So list 2 dot append pomegranate. I display pomegranate. Am I correct? Who can spell pomegranate? So yeah, I think
it's correct.
yeah. So and you trying to run this, now it's already appended. So what do you do? Now print your list 2. Print list 1, list 2. So when you run the list 2, now you would go and say that pomegranate is already there. So this is exactly what we're talking about. So this is where we're going to stop today so that we can have some time for questions. So if you have any questions, please go ahead to ask now.